What's up, everybody? It's your boy Slim William Games back with another video. Smash that like button and subscribe button. Today, we're talking about the 4090 graphics card. That's right. The ultimate 4090, the biggest, baddest graphics card that seemed from every YouTuber ever existed, right? Until you got the 5090. But we're not talking about the 5090 right now. We're talking about the 4090. And the reason why we're talking about the 4090 graphics card in particular is because you can get a graphics card, a 4090 graphics card, at $600. These things are plummeting like a rock. They're falling like rain. And yeah, they're down to the point where they're 600 bucks. Now, question, should you get a 4090? Now, I'm gonna break this down a little bit. Now, I want to be honest with you 100%. I don't know everything when it comes to the deep dives between the 4090s and all these different graphics cards, right? But I have a 4080 Super. My brother has a 4080. And we're doing just fine when it comes to video games, especially at 4K. Now, I have a I'm going to be honest with you guys. I do not have a 4K monitor, but I have a 1440p monitor. But it's OLED, so, it looks nice. But when it comes to graphics cards in general, a lot of these guys like to come out and scream, oh, I got a 4090, I got a 4090, I got a 4090. I have 24 gigs of VRAM versus your little 16 gigs of VRAM and stuff like that. Guys, I got a chart behind me, as you guys can see. And look, you really are not going to need a 4090. Now, if you want a 4090, by all means, if you got the extra money to get a 4090, go get it. Uh, but do you need it? Depends on what you have, right? It depends on your system. Now, um, I got a graph behind me. My graph shows a couple of video games. Now, this is at 1440p, okay, with a 4090. Okay, 360 FPS, sub 10 millisecond latency on the RTX 4090 at 1440p. It got Apex Legends, reaches frame cap at 300 FPS. You got Fortnite, 8.4 milliseconds, and it reaches up to an insane 601 FPS. You got Overwatch, it reaches at clocks at 400 FPS frame cap, and you got Rainbow Six Siege. You can reach it at 493 FPS, and Valorant, Valorant, whatever game that is, that's reach cap at 433 FPS. Now, these numbers all sound great, right? Because remember, the graphics cards, the 4090s was at an insane $1,700. Now, this is not the founders edition of the graphics card. Okay, this is not the founders edition. This is the Asus TUF GeForce RTX 4090 overclocked edition gaming graphic card. It's at 600 bucks. But guess what, guys? It's a 4090. Okay, so really, all that founders edition, it's a 4090. The fact that these 4090s are dropping at $600 when these things were literally $2,000 or more, and it drops at 600 bucks. $600. The 5090 is now the ultimate beast when it comes to graphics cards. Now, but you're talking about a budget gaming for those who are doing for those who are budgeting. You really don't need both of these cards. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You can get away with playing top tier games, 1440p, with a 4070 Super, 16 gigs. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you got a 12 gig of VRAM, I wouldn't try to pull a 4K or ray tracing. You might cap out because ray tracing takes a lot of VRAM to use. So I wouldn't. I mean, frame generation. I mean, it takes a little bit more of a as far as with a 12 gig. So 12 gig, you're pushing it. But if you got a 16 gig VRAM chip, 4070 Ti, 4080 Supers, you can do good with those. You know why? Frame generation. Now I know some people don't like to hear that word. Some of these YouTubers are out here going, frame generation. Frame generation. Yes, frame generation. On my system, I played games like uh uh Assassin's Creed Shadows. Uh what other games? Give me a second. Assassin's Creed Shadows, Microsoft Flight, Call of Duty, Forza Horizon. I played at these top tier games, and guess what, guys? I still sometimes use frame generation. And because I use frame generation sometimes, it's because look, let me go ahead and explain this frame generation stuff, man. A lot of these content creators don't like to use frame generation, but a lot of people are using frame generation. You just don't see it, okay? Cut on frame gen, you're good. Most of these games you're running, yes, you're going to be running. You cut on, okay, without frame generation. Let's say you cut on The Last of Us, right? You cut on The Last of Us without frame generation. 4080 Super, you're going to run at maybe between, I'll say, 45, 50 frames a second, maybe 60 frames a second, which is still doable. But if you cut on frame generation, shoots up to 100. That's what frame generation is for. Frame generation is mostly for, is to help you when it comes to your FPS, when it comes to gaming. If you don't have a top tier, blown out 4090, 5080, 5090 series graphics card, you're going to, if you got like a budget graphic card, like a 4060 or 4060 Ti or 4070 Super, you're going to mostly use frame generation. Okay, a lot of people don't like, a lot of these top tier YouTubers they act like frame generation is the worst thing ever. No, frame generation is what helped you when it comes to these games. A lot of frame generation works out greatly. It does wonders when you're playing games like Microsoft Flight, because if you're running, especially if you got running to areas like New York, or you run into areas like Miami, you run into areas like where it's big, massive cities and that has that deep detail, and you're running at 1440p, or even try to run it at 4K, you're going to use frame generation. I'm sorry, frame generation is part of the game, guys. I know a lot of people don't like to use frame generation because they like. And let me go ahead and explain the reason why. A lot of these big time YouTubers, right? They got these 4090s, they got these 5090s and stuff like that, right? They like to have it to where they can run a high end game or a AAA game, maxed out settings. They love to say that word, maxed out. These YouTubers, they get online and go, yeah, my PC is I got a 4090, I got a 5090. I'm playing Far Cry 6 and it's maxed out. It's like that word maxed out is like it hits you hard when you're poor and you're watching it, you're going, oh my God, he's playing maxed out. He's playing maxed out. And then you're looking at your PC and you're running a 2080 Ti in 2025, and you're going, oh my God, I can't maxed out setting. What I'm going to do? I can't play these games. What? Oh my God, I'm poor. No, you can play the games. Okay. They love to say, oh, I'm running maxed out settings, right? That's because, yeah, can a 4090 or 5090 especially run a Microsoft Flight, run Call of Duty, run Doom, the new all these games where you're running at 160, 170, 180 hertz, and you're pushing it to the max ray tracing, everything 4K maxed out settings without turning on frame generation? Yes. But budgeting PC gamers can't sometimes can't do that. So they got to go with the alternative. use frame generation. You're going to get a lot of push from your PC when you're running. And again, if you don't cut on those settings, if you don't cut on those FPS settings where you see what your FPS counter is, you won't notice. Guys, PlayStation and Xbox run at 60 frames a second, and their games look beautiful. You barely notice it. They run it at 60 frames a second. You barely notice anything. You know why? Because you don't got no big time YouTuber that's going, hey, I'm running a PlayStation at 300 frames a second. No. Now, you can get a monitor. You can get a gaming monitor that pushes 240 frames, 230 hertz. But guess what? You're still running at 60 frames a damn second. Okay? You can get away with a 4070, 4080, 16 gigs of VRAM. If you got 12 gigs, you may not be able to run at 4K. Now some people are gonna go, well, you can run at 1080p. Now, I understand some people are still playing at 1080p. My monitor, if I want to run at 1080p, I can run it at 400 megahertz at 1080p, which is insane, insanely fast. Here's another thing, guys. What game are you guys playing where you need 400 hertz? What games are you playing where you're going to need 200 hertz? Well, hold on, Slim. I play Call of Duty and I got to get the first kill. Yeah, I got to run at 200 frames a second. I got to run at 400 frames a second. Now, you can do that. You can do that. 4060, 4070, 4070 Ti, 4080. You can all do that. You really don't have to have the biggest, baddest game in the PC. All you need, I'm going to give you guys the secret. You want to make your games run stupid fast without any issues? Get you a super fast SSD 4 terabyte. Get you a super fast SSD 4 terabyte, guys, and put your big games on the SSD 4 terabyte. SSD 4 terabyte for my PC cost me, I got it on sale for like $200. Now, without the sale, they're probably $400. You can spend the extra money. That's worth it. Even with a 4060, 4070 Ti Super, you put everything on a 4 terabyte hard drive, SSD, ultra fast hard drive. I can't barely snap, but your games are moving stupid fast because of the SSD. See, it's more than just graphics cards that they're not telling you. It's more than just graphics cards. Some games are very graphic, as far as graphics, like use graphics cards more. Your graphics, some games rely on CPU usage. Just because you got dude, guys, I had a 3090 with an i5. I still was bottlenecking. Because even though I had a bad behind GPU, which is a 3090 in 2025, is still amazing. They don't sleep on 3090s. 3090s are great, 24 gigs of VRAM. But I was bottlenecking because I was still running at an i5. So the CPU usage was already at 100. As soon as I cut the damn computer on, guys, it was still running at 100, like using 100 usage. As soon as I cut PC on, that CPU usage spiked up. And God knows if I cut on Steam or any game, the CPU, it was bottlenecking. So I wasn't even getting the full use of my GPU. And here I'm thinking it's the GPU's fault, the reason why my games aren't running as fast as or running as great. No, it's the CPU. All I had to do was upgrade the CPU from an i5 to an i7 or even an i9, 4400K. F. And you want to get the F because you want to get the overclock. So what I'm saying is, guys, it's not all about your GPU. There's a lot of things other than your GPU. Your CPU. Got to make sure you got a CPU. You got to make sure you got a good hard drive, good SSD, RAM. Might want to upgrade your RAM. I got a 64 gig of RAM. Might want to upgrade your RAM. More than just GPU. If you can upgrade your RAM, okay, let's say hypothetically, for giggles, you got let's say you got a i7 with a 4070. No 4070 Ti, just a regular 4070 at 12 gigs, right? Get you a ultra fast SSD. Upgrade your upgrade your RAM, and get you a monitor. Now, you see, you're gonna be limited at that VRAM stage because that VRAM is only 12 gig. I will recommend, if you can, to make sure you get a 16 gig of VRAM. That way, you're not running out of gig. Because even if you go to use frame generation, you're still gonna be using enough VRAM. So, if you are got a 12 gig, then you can do a couple of tests on your PC to see what you can see how it looks. But guys, none of that matters. As long as you can play the game, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. As long as you can play the damn game, that's all that matters. Like, stop allowing these YouTubers to get on here and boost your head up, thinking, okay, you gotta have this, you gotta have this, you gotta have this to play these modern games. You don't. Just have a nice, decent PC. Your stuff will run flawlessly. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. It's your boy, Slim Win Your Games. Do you need a 4090 in 2025? I say not. But hey, if you got extra cash, it's only $600. Get it. Let me know what you guys think, man. Peace.